In this video, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna break some cardinal rules when it comes to YouTube videos. But the reason I'm doing this is because I wanna overlay some of the most important parts of this video so that nothing is missed. So that way I can give you the most clear guidance on how this works. I'm also gonna break a few other rules. Not looking directly at the camera, to not having a backdrop, not having the proper lighting, not using a microphone. And when I'm not looking at you, I'll be looking at the screen here, which causes its own issue, not to mention the fact that you can see what I'm looking at in my glasses here. But unfortunately, I need my glasses to look at my computer, so. Welcome to part 2 in this wood burning, electrical burning thing. I can't really call it a playlist because it's really only gonna include maybe 3 videos total. I had to break it out though because if I tried to put everything into one video, it would have been over an hour. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we're gonna get started here in the garage where I left the wood from the last burn here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take it outside. I wanna go bring it over there by that fence so that I can wash it off with the hose. Ideally, if you have a power washer, that's definitely gonna be the better bet for you, especially if you have one that you can adjust the pressure. If you have one that's way too high in pressure, you don't want that because that's gonna scar and destroy the wood. You wanna avoid doing that. After I get all the wood out there, you're gonna see me that I'm just literally gonna wet everything down here. I want to clean out as much soot from here as possible because it's just gonna make things a lot easier when I bring the wire brush out to get even a deeper clean inside there. I also want to make sure that all of the wood is soaked. I found that when I do that, not only is it easier for all of that debris to get out of the crevices and cracks, it's also much better at protecting the wood from getting scratched from the wire brush. You're gonna see the wire brush I bring out here in just a second. But before that happens, I'm gonna let you enjoy some of the music. Okay, so here's the wire brush. Now, this one is the largest of the ones that I have. It's got a nice handle on there. I think, what is this? This is a Lincoln, if you're interested in getting the exact same one that I use. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape out all the soot inside the deep crevices, and you'll see that I stick to mainly just the soot areas. I don't wanna really touch much of the wood if I can avoid it, but this part right here has to be my favorite. And the reason for that is it's a lot of work that goes into getting the wood prepped and burned, and you got leftover soot, and then you gotta take a wire brush and scrape it all out. As much as I get annoyed at other YouTubers when they talk about things being so satisfying, I look at this and the first thought that comes in my mind is, God, that's really satisfying. In this part right here, I'm cleaning a different piece of wood. You're gonna see this reappear in another video later on where I show you how I do a planter box. And the reason I wanted to include this one in the video was because it's a smaller piece of wood. And on smaller pieces of wood like this, I like to use a smaller wire brush as well, because I find that the little details that you can get out with that little brush are better than the bigger one. It leaves a lot less soot and a much cleaner end result. Now that said, it's a lot more work. And there it is again, nice and clean. Yeah, satisfying. see that as soon as I'm done with that one, I'm gonna lay it outside because I want it to dry up and I want it to dry naturally as quick as possible. And I don't only do it for the small piece, I literally do this for every single piece that I burn and I wash off. Now in the winter, it's a lot more difficult because I have to kind of dry it by artificial means. And the reason I'm doing that as opposed to just letting it sit there was because I don't want to allow for any moisture to get trapped inside the wood. I don't want it to mold or anything like that. This is part 2 in a 3-part series, and the third part is how I fill the voids with resin. So with that, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something here. If you did, please let me know by hitting that like button. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss part 3 or any of the other builds that I have coming. And with that, as always, cheers. I'm also gonna break a few more rules to include number 1, not having the proper lighting. Number 2, not having the proper backdrop. Number 3, to not having a backdrop, to not having the proper, to not having a backdrop, to not having a backdrop, to not having the, to not having the, to not having a back, to